One woman, several husbands. Polyandry. What do you think? Hi there, I'm Roux. Welcome to my video where I talk about whatever I want. Inspired by D'Angelo I am, yes. And today I want to talk about polyandry. In my previous videos this week, I've been talking about various forms of plural partnership, where you have multiple romantic partners. I started off with polygamy, which is one man married to several wives, and then I went on to polyamory, which is the concept of an open relationship where all partners can have several partners, and today I want to go to the other side. So I feel like we've gone from one extreme, middle, and then to the other extreme, which is one wife, several husbands, aka the opposite of polygamy. I've always found it really fascinating how in a lot of places, misogyny, sexism, and overall patriarchal views have persisted and made women less than. I find it really fascinating because polygamy with one man and several wives kind of go back to the notion of women being less than. Not in all cases, of course, but like historically speaking, like one woman is like half of a man and you have to have two women to be as valuable as a man. And that's why you have several wives, because women are basically like breeding mares for you to have like a billion children. And they're not like valuable, like equal partners. I'm not saying like modern, but I'm saying like historically speaking. So it's really fascinating to see that the opposite has happened in other parts of the world. There are remote areas of the Himalayas that practice polyandry. And you might wonder like, I wonder how like they came to that conclusion when a lot of the other parts of the world were like actually one man, many women, and that kind of thing. It's actually based in a lot of practical views. In the Himalayas, the amount of land that you can live off of and grow crops off of is limited, and it's very steep hills, so the amount of fertile soil that you can live off of is limited. So polyandry really became a thing to prevent starvation and overpopulation. They practice polyandry in the way that if they have several sons, they will have one wife that the sons share. So it's several brothers, natural brothers, who share one wife. In that way, they won't have to split up the land so that all of the brothers have land to live on and live off of, keeping the land intact. Because if they were to split it up, eventually there wouldn't be enough land to live off of and people would literally starve to death. It also ensures that the population won't explode because there's only a max amount of times that a woman can be pregnant. Like, you can't be pregnant twice at the same time. If each of the brothers were to have a separate wife, those wives could have been pregnant at the same time, meaning a lot more babies. But if they share a wife, she can only be pregnant, one at a time. So basically, there's many little villages, and the girls get sent to a different village to marry into a different family, and then the village that sent those girls get girls from a different village again, thereby making sure that they don't inbreed also. I find it very fascinating because growing up in a patriarchal culture where basically women are disposable and where women just have to live with being jealous because men just want more women, they just have to have their urges satisfied. I mean, that's what, sexist people will say. To see, the opposite dynamic is very fascinating. I wonder, do they get jealous? But then maybe because they're already brothers, they've grown up sharing everything, and, they just sort of continue sharing everything, including a wife, then it becomes more natural versus, having people who aren't accustomed to sharing with each other, just like two strangers sharing one guy. Maybe it's a little less tension? I don't know, it's very fascinating. It goes back to this concept of there were several tribes back in the day, historically speaking, who had one woman, but she slept with many men, and then they wouldn't know who the father was, so that all the men would protect the child. It kind of goes back to that, because you don't know who the father is, so all of the men in the equation have to love and care for that child, as a father. I mean, if they want to, of course. I find it really fascinating. Unfortunately, it seems like it's something that's going to phase out. And I say unfortunately, but like it's not actually unfortunate, because the reason it's phasing out in those rural areas is because they're getting more connected to the rest of the world by roads, by education, and with education, they now know how to do family planning. So instead of relying on, oh, we just have one wife, and therefore we make sure that not too many children are born, they can actually use contraception and plan how many children they have. And by that means, make sure that it won't be overpopulated and everyone has enough land to live on. It's very fascinating though, like, because a lot of people will have you believe that the natural way of things is one man having as many women and sowing his seed with as many women as possible. And then you go to these areas and it's like they've been doing polyandry for centuries, thousands of years. And then you're like, oh, maybe it's not so black and white, you know what I mean? Like, it's not like one way. So I find that very fascinating. I personally don't think it would be for me though. I don't think I would enjoy it because I have 5 cats and I already think it's hard enough to show them that I love them all equally and, you know, to give them all the attention that they need and deserve. To have to apply that in a romantic relation to several people, like if I was the only wife and several husbands, that would be so much work, and I don't think that I would enjoy that. It seems like a headache for me. But you know, you do you if you like it. You do you, boo. I also wonder like what the girls think about it, because they are shipped off to live with a family, and what if they only like one of the guys? What if they like detest one of the brothers? But you still have to sleep with him because you're technically married to both. I don't like the thought of that. You know, like, I feel like it still has some elements of possible unhappiness in that if it is set up in the way that she has to sleep with all of them, like she doesn't have a choice. I don't know how that works, like you have to ask them, I guess, but you know, if that happens, then that would be not fun and not okay. But yeah, just from like a standpoint of even if there was no force involved, I just don't think that I would be able to adequately give each partner the attention and love that they deserve. You know, I think that that would be really hard. Not just practically, emotionally, you know? Yeah. What do you think about it though? Like, would you like it? Do comment below. I hope you enjoyed the discussion about these topics of polygamy, polyamory, polyandry. Very fascinating. Just shows that there's no one right way. You know what I mean? Everyone should just do what makes them happy. You do you, boo. I was wondering what I should talk about next in the upcoming week. I've been flirting with the idea of talking about MLMs, multi-level marketing, aka pyramid schemes. Someone commented that they would want to see a video where I talk about the Norwegian healthcare system, since I am Norwegian and I have experience with it and what it's like. So that would be an option. I also want to talk about purity culture. Yes, I am morbidly interested in anything about gender roles. Yeah. Feminist at heart. So do comment below. What do you want to see? Like, even if you have a different suggestion, do comment below. I so enjoy having discussions with you guys, and you are really pivotal for these videos. So your opinion is what matters. I really want to make this my full-time job, by the way. Just by the way. So if you want to support that, do come back, keep watching my videos, liking, subscribing, and commenting. I also want to give a big shout out to my wonderful patrons. Thank you for believing in me. If anyone wants to be my patron, there's links below. But yeah, thank you for coming by. You're awesome. Okay, love you, bye!